everyone, welcome back. This is a plant of the day video. The plant of the day that I've picked today is my cutesy pootsy little nerve plant, and she came on my radar because of something that recently happened this week. We'll get to that in a minute. So the nerve plant, I was under the impression when I first got back to plants that it was not a safe plant for pets. It does cause some GI upset to animals if they ingest it, especially the oral cavity. It's very uncomfortable. However, according to the ASPCA, it is a pet-friendly plant. It will not do harm to your pet if it's ingested. So keep that in mind. I mean, it will make them a little miserable, orally. It'll cause them some irritation and maybe a little bit of GI upset. But other than that, it's a safe plant to be around your pets. This plant is found in Colombia and Peru. It will be on the understory, growing across the floor of the rainforest in those countries. So it will be getting dappled light through the canopy, but don't forget that the intensity of that light that it's getting through those trees is, for most of us, radically different than in those areas. So it will love bright and direct light. The bright and direct light will keep the color that this plant gives, which can be different. I picked red, and it also gives you some oranges as it's growing out new leaves. But they come in whites, they come in pinks, they come in all kinds of different colors to match whatever you like. They stay pretty small, they don't get ginormous, so if you're looking for something that you can, prune back and keep in a nice shape and keep it in a smaller area like I do with mine, then this is the plant for you. It can tolerate lower light, keep that in mind, but it will lose this beautiful color that you've really been drawn to by the plant when you first bought it. Temperature, it likes to stay above 65 degrees Fahrenheit, can tolerate all the way up to 85 degrees Fahrenheit. That would be, I think, 18 to 26 degrees Celsius everywhere else other than the United States. Humidity, 50 to 70% is where this plant likes to live, okay? It can tolerate 50, which is still high humidity, but on the lower end of high. So as long as you can provide that with either grouping plants together or giving it a humidifier, this plant's gonna love you for it. Soil, it likes a well-draining soil, even though it does like to stay moist. It doesn't like to be soggy in a bog either. It will totally give it root rot if that is how it spends its life. So it could tolerate, pretty much anybody's water from their sink, but I like to be safe with mine. I just give it rainwater that I'm able to catch, or distilled water that I buy from the store, or filtered water, from my husband's shower, and it tolerates that pretty well. Now to get to why this plant is actually highlighted as a plant of the day this week. Somehow I missed this plant when I watered this week, in the beginning of the week. And it was one of the ones that was close to the point where it needed to be watered. And I am gonna tell you, I was sitting down after getting home from work, and I looked over at the plant stand, and this, you can see how it has very stiff leaves, just really stiff. It was like noodles. Some of the leaves were upside down, and I'm like, what in the world is going on with that plant? And I picked up the planter's pot out of the decorative plot, and it was light as a feather, and I automatically knew what was going on with it, even though I had an inkling. It was dry as a bone. And I do love this plant. I was freaking out. I'm like, oh my God, I think I just killed my plant, because I know they do not like to go dry. They don't like it. They like to stay moist. I wasn't sure if the root structure would still be in place and would be able to reabsorb the water I gave it, but I doused it with water. got rid of all the excess. I put it back under its grow light. Woke up the next morning and the stiffness had returned to all the leaves for the most part, and by the time I came back that evening, it had totally like sprung right back. So keep that in mind. It is forgiving, but I wouldn't put it in that position again, because I don't know how many times this plant could tolerate that type of behavior. Because when I tell you it was dry, it was literally bone dry. I mean, this, oh my God, I felt so bad. It was literally dry, and it did bounce back. So this is a plant that can tolerate mistakes. I have a lot of plants in my collection that cannot do that. They cannot tolerate mistakes at all. One mistake and it will make you pay for it. I'm looking at you, Stramanthe Trio Star. Anyway, one mistake and it makes you pay for it for months. I'm telling you. This plant bounced right back. It lost 1 or 2 leaves and that was it. So if you're looking for a forgiving plant that can handle a little heavy-handed watering and maybe being forgotten every once in a while, this is a plant for you. Fertilizer, I fertilize it probably every other watering, as long as it's showing me growth, which it has been up until this week because I starved it of water. Yeah, you know. So this week it did not get fertilized because I missed that watering. So when I did water her, she was stressed, remember? I didn't fertilize her. I probably won't fertilize her for the next week or so until I'm sure she's no longer stressed. And I make sure that that didn't call any pests to her like a flame, because stressed plants put out hormones that can draw pests, the bad ones, to them. So I just want to make sure I didn't cause her any other harm that I can't see. So she won't get fertilized for probably the next 3 weeks until I know she's perfectly fine and she's recovered. But I really would give her a good dousing of 1/4 to half strength of liquid dirt every other watering normally, because she's giving me some good growth. I do keep her pruned back, but she, other than that, does give some good growth to me. Pests, everything is drawn to this plant. Spider mites, mealybugs, scale, aphids, what am I missing? Thrips, the gamut. So it all depends on like what might be hitting this plant at the time. It can handle direct use of pest control products like neem oil, Captain Jack's Bad Bug Brew. If that you would find yourself in a thrip situation, almost any plant can handle systemics. If you find that you're getting to a point where you're losing control of a pest situation and you don't want to lose your whole collection, which when you have a plant collection, I have my Uko in my mind, I don't know why. Plant collection as big as mine. If you get any kind of pest issue, it's very, very hard to keep it contained and it can spread like wildfire. So right now I currently have 3 areas of pest issues that are contained, but you never know. And if I got to the point where I felt like I could lose my whole collection, for sure I would use a systemic on anything that my Uko could not reach. In fact, I probably would lift things up out of his reach and give them systemics probably for at least a month to make sure that all my plants are protected and would not get any spread of the pests to them. So I think I've covered everything. I mean, you want a well-draining mix as far as the soil, even though they like to be moist. You still want to have a well-draining soil. Peat-based with a little bit of perlite would do great for a plant like this, because you don't have to have a whole lot of orchid bark and all that kind of stuff in there, sphagnum moss. Maybe. You might be able to throw some of that in there. But as long as it's a well-draining soil with peat in it, this plant will love it. So I did actually, I feel, cover everything, fertilizing. Yeah, I think I did. Light, water, yeah, we're good. Temperatures. I just wanted to highlight this plant because she really impressed me with the resilience that she had as far as going dry like that. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. If you know anybody else that would find this information helpful, don't forget to share. If you have any information on care tips you've used that have been well received by this plant, the lovely nerve plant, don't forget to leave it in the comment section below. We are a community of support for plant parents. It's not just one person, it's us as a community, you know, coming together and supporting each other. So until next time, don't forget to give all your plants, even the sassy, resilient ones, lots of planty love.